All right, well, today we got something else to work on. Was mowing last weekend and broke the weld right off of this plate here. So this is what holds the seat down. Snap that sucker right off of there. So we're gonna try and get that fixed today. I've got a piece of plate steel. We'll get it bent up, get some holes drilled, and see if we can't get it mounted back up to that plate. Alright, what we're doing is turning this into the piece that essentially is going to sit underneath the plate. We're going to bend it, and then we're going to cut hole or punch holes in for these ears, drill holes in. The one thing that you have to remember to take into account when you're doing this is we need to sit within these ears here. So we have these two ears. They're about 14 inches apart, but because we're bending an inside radius, as in we're bending from the inside to get a certain distance, the outside is going to be essentially the thickness of the plate doubled on top of your length already. If that doesn't make sense, I'm not explaining it well, but essentially you have to take into account the thickness of the metal to get that outside width. Ask me how I know. So we're making this, it's about 14 inches between those ears. We're gonna make this 13.5 to account for the thickness in this plate. Yikes. That's a little bit close to that hole there. That got a little bit extended. I think we're probably going to set it around the 16 gauge. Yeah. We're working with 3/16, but that's the thicker part. The thinner part, I don't want to burn through it. Let's try there. We'll see how that works. Maybe we'll crank it up a little bit. I'm going to put it at 14 gauge, right between 5 and 6. There's another pack. Yeah, I think that's where it's at. We'll get some of this packed in and then we'll start running right across it. Not the prettiest in the world, but I think it'll hold. Let's do these plugs. Alright. Oh, those are just lovely fumes. Make sure you don't breathe in the black stuff. Little Home Depot powder coating. And that is not the same orange. What are you gonna do? Not gonna look anything like factory. All that weld splatter, that's just extra hold. We don't need to grind that off. Time for the test. I think we're we're good. Now, I didn't get into how this happened. I'm like 225 pounds. Kind of a hefty fellow. And this mower just seems to not hook up on any type of surface. I have ATV tires on this thing, and it just never goes anywhere. It'll spin and spin on dirt, on grass, on slight grades. It's horrible. So I've constantly found myself up against something. In this case, it was the fence, and I was down, pushed into the fence, and I went to use my leg and push off of the fence, and that's what eventually broke this seat. Now, I could tell that it was on its way out because there were stress cracks all over it, but that one heave-ho off the fence is what finally cut that, or broke that one ear off. So we'll try and keep it operational for now, but for right now, I need to get some firewood out of the woods. We're about at burning season. It's not too far around the corner, and I have a ton of firewood that I need to cut up. And it's not even from all the trees that were harvested when they did the logging, because that wouldn't even be any good to burn this year. So I've been essentially cutting up some of the dead trees that I found on the ground. One big one in particular that I dropped a couple weeks ago. So we're gonna get the carrier on the back of the John Deere tractor and go in there and see if we can't get some of these rounds out of the woods. Just saw the world's fattest groundhog come up right there. That looked like a 40-pound hog. He whistled real loud, and then I looked over that way and saw him moving out. Big old boy. Anyway, this was a dead red oak I dropped a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic sawmanship here. I got her all carved up, but I got it down safely. So it had been, you can see, dead for a while. Not going to be good for this year, I don't believe, but maybe if I get into the later part of the winter, it might be semi-dry enough to burn. We'll see, but I need to get it out of here because it's blocking my road. So we'll get this hauled out of here. We'll put some in the bucket and then some on the carry-all and get her out of the woods. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty impressed with how that carry-all worked out. That was the first time I used that. To get all this, most of this out of the woods, I've been using the side-by-side with that extended bed. I got that RTV, I think it's a X1140, and it's got the bed that extends out to a nice sized bed, and that hauls a lot. But when you start getting that thing loaded down with logs, it's squatting. That tractor, I was able to get 4 of these rounds in the bucket, and then I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 rounds, I think, on the carry-all, and then a bunch of the little stuff that were branches that I cut up, and that was pretty good for one trip. That hauled a lot of wood. You can see here, well, I got about, I mean, we're getting close to a cord of wood here. I got it sitting on about 6 or 7 pallets stacked up, but we might be there. We might be a little bit under, a little bit over. I don't know. We're right about there. Let me put you guys down here. So yeah, that carry-all worked out great. I was actually thinking about selling it because it's been taking up space in the shop up there, and I'm just kind of working around it. But I think that'll be a much better option for getting those big rounds out. I can't hardly lift some of those off the ground to get them in the bucket, much less get them in the back of the side-by-side. So now, one of the things I've been contemplating now that we have the wood burning stove and we're going to be burning 2 or 3 cords a year is getting a log splitter. Doing it manually is a fantastic workout, but I don't know if I want to do 3 or 4 cords every year like this. I've been looking at some of the cheaper Chinese splitters. I've been looking at the ones they sell at Home Depot and Tractor Supply, which I think they're all the same pretty much, just rebranded. And I don't know. I don't know if I want a log lift. I don't know if that's really necessary. My back's still good. I'm young enough to pick stuff up, so I'm sure it would save my back if I was doing 10 cords, but I don't really plan on doing 10 cords. I was looking at the real fancy, like Easton Maids and Wolf Ridge. What's up, buddy? I just don't know if I need something that fancy. I'm not going to be doing that much. Just a single, what do they call them? Because they have the 4-way splitters. Just a single splitter is probably all I'm really going to need. Something I can put behind the tractor or the side-by-side, tow it to where I need it, and then use that. I just don't know if I can justify those Easton Maids. They're nice, but they're like, I mean, they're like $5 grand for the entry-level one. And you see all the guys run those things, and they're fast. They have a nice like sorting table on the end of them. But like I said, I don't know if I need all that. I don't know. We'll see. I've also looked at, I think what they're called, full bore. I think it's another Chinese model, but it has the log lift on it. It's got the separating table. It's not as fast as an Easton Maid. And I don't remember what, I think the Easton Maids run Vanguard motors or something, and this is some Chinese motor. It'll do 99% of what the Easton Maid will do, just a little bit slower. And I think it's like half the price. Even still, $3 grand. It's a lot of money for a log splitter. I was looking at stuff with Honda motors. Again, you're paying a lot of money. I don't know. I'm torn. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do there. We'll see. I don't have to get one this year. It would be nice. I still have a lot to split up from when the loggers came and cleared out all of the mature timber. So I got treetops everywhere. Not to mention I got a ton of standing dead red oak that needs cut down as well. So we'll get that all on the ground, and maybe next summer figure out what we're going to do with firewood as far as splitting it. I don't know, but anyway, that'll probably about do it for this video. Got the mower fixed, got some logs out of the woods. We'll be back on, well, I need to do an update on the in-law build. They'll be doing the roof, I think, this week, so they have most of the sheathing done. I haven't been able to get video, I haven't been able to get over there. It's just been super busy. but they have most of the sheathing done. They have some of the underlayment done for the roof, and then they should be starting on the roof hopefully this week. So they'll be getting that under roof soon, and then we'll start doing interior stuff and garage stuff and some of the finishing work and the plumbing and mechanical and all that stuff. So hopefully I'll have some cool videos of the framing. You know, this is just that. It's just framing. It takes a long time. It doesn't take a long time. It's just you got to get through that before you can really do anything else. So we'll be doing the septic and the HVAC stuff, and do a lot of DIY videos on that stuff. So until then.